digitization changes the business of machine building. Very welcome to Dr. Stephan Fischer of TRUMPF GmbH and Dr. Gerhard Dimmler from Engel, Austria, and Willem Sundblad, one of the contestants of Code N. Very welcome. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right. Startups are always in the spot, so we start with the traditionals. What has changed for you in machinery in the last 10 years?
I think actually there's a lot of change. Right? Let's compare that to the traditional IT industry. And traditional IT industry is maybe a strange word, but if you look 10 years back, nobody would have imagined that actually CRM data, financial data goes into the cloud. Today this is absolutely normal. We have a big company here in the hall with Salesforce.com, and everybody's convinced that this is the future. Now, machine making in the cloud, not really happened so far, and that's a big change which we see coming.
What's your perspective, like building software for machines or specialized in it?
Yeah, we see as a classical machine manufacturer that we have to think about these new technologies and these new possibilities, and this is a total different approach at the moment because we have not this know-how so far, and we have to think how to handle and how to process all the information we get in the future, because this information will give us more possibilities and opportunities we haven't considered at the moment so far.
Willem.
Yes.
Where are you from? Denmark?
Sweden.
Sweden. All right. Like a lot of interesting startups.
Right.
So could you explain what you do then? And how you might be able to help out these players?
Of course. So we've created a hardware and software solution to create smart factories. So you can analyze and optimize a production line from a smartphone, essentially. So we partner with equipment manufacturers in the cable industry to plug our hardware into the industrial machinery, take performance and machine data in real time, send it to the cloud-based analytics platform, so you can visualize process flows, use machine learning to predict machine failures and quality rejections, so the manufacturers can make the most of their machinery and also make the most of their capacity.
Why can't you do that by yourself? Why you need those?
That's a very interesting question, and let me just tell you one of the stories which I saw at TRUMPF. When I started there, I was coming actually a year ago from SAP, and so remote management was a top issue on our list. And so I said, well, this is not a big miracle, let's teach the guys how to do it. And I said, well, we just connect the machines to the cloud and then we can do it. And then they said, but how will you connect to the machine? Because there's a firewall. And I said, yeah, that's pretty normal, right? It's security. And they said, well, this firewall is totally closed. You cannot reach the machine. And you could see that somehow IT meets reality.
Well, he can't crack that neither, I hope.
We had the discussion yesterday.
Yeah.
Maybe he can. So, what's the solution then? I mean, how do you change this type of mindset? Or technical result of a certain mindset, I assume.
I think that's the tough part. I think we have to do that by small, very convincing examples. Right? Today there are lots of myths. If you talk about cloud, about big data, everybody thinks about the NSA. Let me maybe just tell you another example. I had a discussion with a big manufacturer in Germany and asked them, would you put your MES solution, the manufacturing execution system, into the cloud? And they said, cloud? No, no way. And I said, what if I would do the upgrades twice a week? What if the system would be there 24/7 all of the time? And I said, well, that's a different story, right? So I think there's a lot of myths behind it, a lot of secrets, and we need convincing small examples, and I'm convinced that this will come.
How's your top management in that stance? I mean,
we have a similar...
Not their perspective, but what I hear from all machinery is that you have digital people in the mid-level, but you have trouble to convince the top management and some of your colleagues to go that way.
From the top management, it's not a big issue in our company because they know that at the moment everybody's discussing about I 4.0 and they know that this is a big chance. The main problem at the moment is how can we explain them real solutions and how can we bring this I 4.0 in a transparent way so that they can understand and they can understand what can we generate business models out of that, and at the end of the day, how can we earn money with these new changes? But at the moment, we have the problem that on the one side, we have this big vision for the future, but on the other side, as Mr. Fischer already said, we have the basic problems, the mindset at the customers and so on. And even in 2015, we have to handle the problems that sometimes we have two networks at the customers. We have a production network where all our machines are connected, and we have a service network, because the fear of our customers is so big that we take some information from their production know-how that they do not allow us to enter into this network. And even if we have these two infrastructures, we need the access and the release of the customer to go to the machine. So this is one of the basic problems we have at the moment, and this has to do with the mindset of the customer, and therefore we have to think how to overrun this mindset, yeah, and how to give them solutions that they trust in our technologies.
I think I can directly confirm that from our side, because maybe people don't know that, but on the machines you usually have all of the construction files, all of the NC programs, and if you get that, this is the core IP of our customers. So if you have access to the machine, you get access to their IP, and they're horribly afraid of that.
Willem, where do you...
Well, our position is that, I mean, cloud is here to stay, and it's only the next logical step that it's now coming in to transform the physical world of manufacturing and industrial machinery. What we need to start by doing is educating that cloud and security are not mutually exclusive, that we can actually work together. And in this specific case with IP that's in the machines, the way we've done that is our hardware and software is actually like an abstraction layer between the machines and the cloud. So we don't connect the physical machine directly to the cloud, but we connect to the serial port, the communication port, and take only performance and machine data and read only, so that their IP is still protected, but they can get the benefits of actually analyzing and optimizing the performance.
Every system can be cracked. What's the right level of security you need for the business? Is there a feeling about it at least? Or, because obviously, I mean, you're all trying out right now, right?
Right. I mean, security is the most important thing, and the key there is to use it as a differentiator among competitors and have it as the top of mind, top issue right from the start, and also take a proactive approach to use data breach protection both on the hardware and the software, so you can actually see right before something happens.
Do we have standards? I mean, you have to define new security standards, right? Because they didn't really exist when the machine wasn't as connected. How do you define that?
I don't know whether we need really new standards. I think the stuff which is out there is enough. It's sometimes very weird behaviors of customers which we see. So as one example, we do have a hardware component which is called the telepresence box, which we need to connect to the internet. Now, we could have built that somewhere into the machine, you wouldn't see it. What we actually did is we built the machine and put this device into the middle with a red cable, which you can immediately see, for the one simple reason that customers theoretically can plug the cable. And I think this is the kind of approach that people have to see something physical, touch it, and then have the feeling this is how security is being done there. Which goes nicely in line with what you do, Willem.
Right.
We've heard quite a bit on what happens when the machines go to cloud. Can you coin down once again the benefits?
I think there are multiple benefits, at least for TRUMPF. So first of all, look at performance. Today, what you actually do is you get drawings, CAD drawings, and you transform them into a so-called NC program, which then is being executed by the machine. And what you usually see is on that process is lots of waiting time, because it is extremely expensive in terms of compute power. So within the cloud, you can just parallelize that and do that extremely quickly. And the second thing is convenience. So I think we could run the systems of our customers. They wouldn't have any downtime, and we have to be aware. We have lots of very small companies as customers. They are not IT savvy, so they will need this kind of convenience if we can convince them that this is the right approach.
We see it in a similar way, because the only way we know at the moment is that we will get a lot of information coming from the machine, from the sensor and so on. So the problem we know what we have at the moment is we cannot expect what will be the data volume in the next future and what will be the performance which is necessary. When you always talk to our IT specialists, they ask us these questions, and I can give them only the answer, we don't know it at the moment. But we know that we need this platform, and this platform has to be flexible, has to be updatable very easily, has to fulfill the security requirements. even if we have a standard, it was discussed the standard before, I do not believe that our customers will believe in the standard solutions at the beginning. So therefore, we have to think like additionally infrastructure and so on, where they put off the cables and so on, that they will trust in our solutions. But we need this cloud issues, for instance, private cloud and so on, to offer them a transparent and a benefitable solutions so that they see the benefits. And as a next step, we have to convince them to the security level we can offer to them. Yeah? But this will be a several-step approach. We will not solve this issue within the next 2-3 years. Yeah?
Willem, benefits are part of the elevator pitch, I assume.
Well, on a high level, I mean, the biggest benefits is that you're moving from taking decisions based on experience and taking decisions based on, that's just the way it's always been done. And now they're doing data-driven decisions based on insights that creates quantifiable results. That's what the cloud is offering. That's why the connected factory is offering. But most importantly, it's also offering in a scalable, agile, and cost-efficient way so that these solutions will not only be available to the largest giants of the manufacturing world, but also to smaller and middle-sized manufacturers.
I think there's an additional benefit which is very important. If you look at the cloud, one of the big advantages which I see is that you can integrate much more easily in the cloud than if you would be on-premise. And if you look at the environment we are in, I think there are tons of very small applications, a very scattered market. There is no process integration. The orders are, you get them via fax, via call, something like that. The shipment of goods is done manually. And I think this whole chain can be automized to a large degree, something which will not be possible if you do that on-premise. It can only work in the cloud.
I get back to that, but please, you want to add, I think?
No, I fully agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. The traditional industrial software, if you look at ERP and SCADA systems, takes months to years to implement, whereas with the cloud-based solution, you can actually implement a customer in a matter of hours.
Well, what does that mean for the structure of the market and for the power? Who's going to have the power in the market? Are these the data-driven platforms, and you at some point are just whatever? What in other industries might be called a dump pipe or supplier or whatever. I mean, that's obviously a threat. If you don't build the platforms, they will, right?
Well, I think there will be multiple platforms, right? I don't see a reason why machine builders shouldn't build that as well. But I think instead of building everything on our own, it's a much better way to partner because time matters. And I think we need solutions which quickly come to market, and this cannot be done alone.
Are you afraid of them?
Absolutely, and I guess...
You just said you're afraid of them, right? I don't know, you didn't get my question. I just are you afraid of them? And you said absolutely. We keep that in as a quote. No.
Afraid, the question is, do we have a platform where we can believe in it and where we trust in it? And the question will be, as I described before, what is the mindset of the customer? And do we trust in a smaller company who offer a platform solution for that?
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's the question we also discussed before our discussion now. Who will be the right companies who offer them, where the customers believe in it? Yeah, it's similar to banking. Yeah, do you trust your bank if it's a very small bank and so on? So that will be a question we cannot answer at the moment. But first of all, we need the solutions and we need the trials that we get these answers. Yeah.
Well, will it be similar to banking, or will it be similar to platforms like Android or iTunes Store? Like, will you have a conversions of platforms, and in the end, the winner or a couple of winners will take all of it?
Hopefully, it will not similar to banking. Yeah. No, I guess Google and so on, they showed us how to do it. Yeah, but this is a huge, big company. So are only these huge, big companies able to offer a solution? Or do we have a parallel world beside them? Yeah.
But is that a realistic scenario, that there will be a couple of platform players in machinery business? Or is the market itself too differentiated, the applications too different that you can't all run them on the same platform?
Well, I think right now it is absolutely too fragmented to have one. It's still such a new market, so that no one's made a strong position yet. I think in the future you will see convergence on the platform market. So I think the best benefit is when you partner with the equipment manufacturers and you have one trusted platform provider that partners with all the equipment manufacturers. Because in the end, if machine makers make their own cloud systems that are customer-facing, the customer ends up with a siloed system for each new machine, which deters user and deters adoption. So the best way forward is to partner and offer that unison view.
So who's well positioned?
That's a good question. I think the machine building industry is waking up. That's my feeling, at least. And that's maybe one of the aspects of Industry 4.0, that this term was shaking up the whole industry. And now the industry started to hire IT folks into their companies. My feeling is the IT companies are in a better position because they are just used to the fast pace, which machine builders usually don't have. So the horizon for building a machine, at least at TRUMPF, is something like 4 years, which is ages in the software business. And I think we have to learn how to bring these speeds together. But my feeling is that the IT industry will have a hard time to go really down to the device, to the machine.
Sorry?
Down to the machine and connect to the machine. And I think that's the core part of it.
Okay.
So
which is technically difficult, so it's not as easy to...
It's technically and trust.
Okay.
So I don't know whether companies like a Google and the like can really get onto the machine very quickly. It's maybe something where also the attitudes of our customers is just too different right now.
Okay. But where are your main customers? In Asia, right?
They may be different, yes. So I think it's really
mainly in Asia. So how do you... what's your perspective on the competition from China? I mean, machinery, China has already eaten up the lower end of the market five times. Germany, Switzerland, and Austria are still good in the top-notch market, but that's about it. And the top-notch market is now attacked through the data systems, right?
True.
So
my feeling is, if you look into cloud-based offerings, they're usually coming out of the US. We can see that as well now. So there are multiple offerings already now. I think in Europe you see some first developments right now. I'm not really aware of developments from China, but I'm very convinced that this will come very soon.
Willem, what's your perspective on it? Does the Stockholm machine data scene has a European perspective, or?
Well, we're actually a London-based company with a New York-based software team.
Okay.
So, and our first client is a cable manufacturer in Chicago.
Okay.
So we've definitely seen the user adoption of and just the perception of cloud-based platforms in manufacturing is quicker in the US. And I think that market will develop quicker.
Well, not such a good news, isn't it?
Yeah, but on the other side, this gives us a big opportunity for the future. Yeah, you mentioned Asia. I guess when we are talking about the plastic industry, we see that they improved in their machine capabilities and so on. But when we talk about connection and production optimization, we see no activities so far there, and this is our chance to give a differentiation to the classical production cell as we know it at the moment. And of course, the States, they are more open to these topics, but in Europe we have the basic machine manufacturing industry, and put them together, this offers a new solution. And this is the funny and the interesting thing at the moment, that people are talking together. Normally they are not doing that. Yeah, and this is feels me very optimistic for the future.
If machines want to communicate, people have to communicate first. And that wasn't the strong point of your industry so far, hasn't it? I mean, I heard of these machine builders in the Schwäbischen Alb who made the same machines just in one village next to the other, and the head of the companies even didn't know each other. So, and that will change. It has to, right?
It has to change.
People stop talking, or
they start talking. That an industry which has been structured in a way that very specialized, very well-organized companies were doing their own thing and then selling it to the world, that this business model is in trouble.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I think actually in terms of machine building, it probably will continue. And there are good reasons for it, because these machine builders are sitting in the niche, and this is a very powerful position. In terms of software, it has to change, because that will never work.
Well, their machines have to communicate in the machine cloud.
That's
Before they didn't have to. But in order to make them communicate with the cloud, they probably have to talk to people in other companies before.
That's true, but they probably won't talk about the secrets of the machines.
Okay. Yeah, that would be stupid, I assume. Well, I won't ask you how a factory will look like in 5 years, I will ask you how the market structure will look like in 5 years of your industry. You want to start?
Well, I think we're going to see over the next 5 years more consolidation on the IoT platform side. You will see players with strong partnerships taking strong positions. Because right now, you have a lot of players who have undifferentiated platforms. So I think it's going to start with differentiated platforms that deliver value for specific verticals that can then extend into a broader spectrum.
Hopefully in 5 years we can offer real solutions. Yeah, because at the moment it's just starting the discussion. It's just starting getting the ideas and implement the ideas. And in 5 years, I don't know how the market will look like, but all the ideas we have at the moment, you can see in the production, in the facility, and we will have the potential to offer there a quantifiable benefit and a quantifiable solution.
Dr.
I would recommend that in 2 years, you start to buy stock from Oden Technologies when they go to Nasdaq. So don't miss that opportunity.
That's fair. And how's the is that a hint on how you forecast the market structure then? You wouldn't.
Or maybe.
Well, you're a privately owned company. We can't buy any TRUMPF stocks, right? So.
Right.
All right. Would you? Well, do you have options? No. No.
At TRUMPF, no. This is a family-owned company.
Okay, yeah, stay that way. Anyhow, I thank you very much for that really interesting insight into the Internet of Things in an industry that will be a little bit under the weather in the upcoming years. That's for sure. But I'm sure innovation in this country and in Austria and in Switzerland will be strong enough to have a good competition. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.